Hey everyone, I'm Almar of almarsguides.com, and this video here is the first video in my building series for Valheim, and in this one we're going to be talking about the foundation for building. So the foundation is basically the most important part of the building. If you mess up the foundation, the rest of the building is not going to work out as you would like it to because it doesn't have a proper foundation. So, the first part of building a foundation is smoothing the ground and raising the ground if you need to. You need to make the entire ground level with where you want your building to be. So, as you can see here, I have raised the ground a bit. I play on survival mode, so it's important to raise the ground. That way enemies cannot reach my, my building that I've created. And that is true for both regular enemies that spawn here. Even though we're in a black forest, we really only have to worry about gray dwarfs. But as far as base attacks go, we want to make sure that we're protected against base attacks too. And as my building is right now, no enemies will be able to get up here except for flying enemies during base attacks. So only really drakes will be an inconvenience / issue during base attacks. Well, blobs, I guess, will be able to get up here as well, and oozers when I get a foul smell from the swamp. So what I did for this foundation is I laid out exactly how I want my building to look. You can see these pieces right here, the 2x1 stone walls that I've created. These are going to be my actual buildings, and I've laid out the blueprint for them more or less here. You can see I have the stone tiles surrounding this entire area. This entire area is going to be where my building is built, essentially. And these 2x1 stone walls that I have right here, this is going to be where the walls are. So I basically just have to keep stacking, you know, stone walls on top of each other, up and up and up. This is going to be a doorway, so this is going to be like a passageway in between these two buildings. And then I'm also going to have stairs in the front here, which go up to the second floor. So essentially it's going to be like a two-building villa, for a lack of better words, is more or less what it's going to look like. And before I started any construction on the building whatsoever, I laid down the foundation, as you can see. Now, there's a few more tips I would like to give you about the foundation, and the first is hiding workbenches in it. So, workbenches, when you hide them, they stop enemies from spawning, so it's somewhat worthwhile to hide them in your foundation like so. I'm going to clear out these rocks here, and I'm going to basically lower the ground a little bit so I can get this workbench below my building, and then we'll basically seal up the hole. So the workbench stays down there, and nobody's none the wiser. So let me grab a little bit more stone, since I need a little bit more for raising the ground and all of that stuff. We'll destroy this workbench since I need to put it in the hole. And I'll need to level the ground a little bit. That way the workbench can actually go down. There we go. Check to see if the workbench would like overhang the hole, or if it'll be completely covered. And as you can see, it will be completely covered. And what we're going to do is we're going to raise the ground a little bit. So long as one portion of the workbench stays above ground, you're good. Like, as you can see, there's only a little bit of the workbench above ground right now, but that's fine. It won't be destroyed. And then we just basically seal the hole on top of the workbench. As you can see, there's one right here that's green and not blue. It's because I didn't raise the ground enough, but I mean, that's honestly okay. It's not going... This stone tile is not going to be used for supporting anything except for, you know, just the ground as it is. And these are basically the fundamentals as far as foundation goes. Before you start building anything, you lay out the foundation for exactly how you want your building to look. Do not start construction until you have a proper foundation down. Otherwise, it can screw you over in the long run. If you do not start with a proper foundation, putting the roof on will be extremely difficult, and you will likely have issues when it comes to the roof. And that's at the very end of your project. So if you don't start with a proper foundation, you could end up doing your entire building project, get to the end, and then realize you can't complete it because the roof can't be finished. And that has happened to me countless times before I started perfecting the foundation, before I started building the actual building. So we're going to do one more hole in the ground here to shove our workbench in, and then we'll end the video with that. As far as foundation goes, once you know what you're going for, it'll be a lot easier. when you're first starting, it's a lot harder to build when you're first starting out in these sorts of games. I had a lot of difficulty when I first started in Valheim. I basically let my imagination get the best of me, and I built, just random things that I thought would look cool rather than things that would be structurally sound. And that was the biggest whoopsie that I made early on in Valheim. And that's what my building series here is intended to help you avoid, is those sorts of whoopsies. And that's really all there is to it. I don't want to drag on this video forever. I covered more or less everything I need to about the foundation. From after you finish the foundation, basically you're going to be working on the body of your building, which is essentially just doing this over and over and over. You'll be stacking a whole bunch of stone on top of each other and basically building up the actual body of your building. And then I usually recommend doing the roof before you start decorating it and all of that stuff to make sure your building actually works, and then you can go from there. But that's all there is to it. Hopefully this video helped you guys out. If you enjoyed it, leave me a like and subscribe to me for future Valheim/building videos. I'm going to be doing a whole series on building, and I'm going to be doing a few videos on each of the building/decorating ideas that I have come up with. Anyway, I will catch you guys around in future Valheim videos. Peace.